Time is 5:30 p.m. It's time to call this budget workshop special call board meeting of the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Board of Trustees, the day being Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Mr. Secretary, would you do us the honor of calling roll?
Yes, sir. Ms. Luna Chavez. Mr. Almaraz.
Present.
Mr. Overfelt.
Present.
Mr. Mesa.
Here.
Mrs. Webb.
Present.
Mrs. Haynes. Sir, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Let the record show that we do have a quorum of board members and that this meeting has been duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. This time we will have opening ceremonies, first with a moment of silence for personal reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First item we have is budget workshop. Item A, Texas Association of School Board, TASB salary study. Amy Childress.
Mr. Mesa, in light of the fact that the legislature has not determined how they were going to proceed with the salaries, we agreed to table this item today and reschedule a budget workshop as soon as we have more direction to discuss this item. If we can move, if you're okay tabling item A and moving on to item B, it'd be great.
Okay, so we'll bring this item at another workshop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then item B, Facilities and Operations, Hector Chapa.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Tonight's sustainability plan is,
Hector, hold on. Is that microphone on?
This needs to be closer. There.
yes, it is.
Closer.
The presentation includes HVAC, fencing, athletics, campus furniture, asphalt, interior and exterior painting, technology refresh, service vehicles. We'll start with the HVAC. Currently, we have $310,000 projected for budget. That includes $70,000 for the Del Rio High School, $30,000 for Cardwell Elementary, $35,000 for Chavita Elementary, $150,000 for Garfield Elementary, and $5,000 Kalani Green, and $20,000 for Fermin Calderon. These numbers are derived from an assessment that Schneider Electric had conducted earlier this year to the condition of all equipment, HVAC equipment throughout the district. On their information package, they indicated which units were in good condition or excellent condition, as well as poor or inadequate condition. So what I did is I took the numbers of all the campuses for poor and inadequate condition and started plugging into the spreadsheet here. And that's why you see spread throughout this year as well as the coming years to basically replace all that equipment with sustainability if the need arises. The next tab is the fencing. We'll start on the left side. The facilities that are highlighted in green, those had already been completed. The one in red is the one that we're going to be doing this year that's already was presented to the board earlier this week. So with the sustainability, we're planning to address Blended Academy as well as Buena Vista Elementary. The two would, total approximate cost would be $450,000 for this year. Moving on to athletics. There's only two items that we're requesting funds for. One would be the stadium lights. That would be a total LED replacement. That project was presented last year, but it was not funded, so we brought it back this year. The other item is $30,000 for the gym floor renovation at San Felipe Memorial Middle School. Campus furniture, we're looking for $60,000 for San Felipe Memorial Middle School. For asphalt, last year we had earmarked approximately $100,000 to repave the warehouse parking area, the facility. We did not receive the funds, so we're bringing it forward once again. The interior painting, we had earmarked $120,000 and $90,000 last year for both Garfield Elementary and Lamar Elementary. Again, we did not receive the funds last year, so we're requesting the funds once again this year. Exterior painting, where we're looking at $60,000 for Buena Vista Elementary and $55,000 for Lamar Elementary. Ditto on here. Last year, we requested the same amount of funds. Unfortunately, we did not receive the funding, so we're bringing it forward once again. Technology refresh, we're requesting $15,000 for MDF, IDF HVAC replacement closet, and that's the HVAC replacements. And as well as $60,000 for the E-rate funding, the 20% contribution. Service vehicles, we're requesting $150,000 for vehicle replacement for the maintenance fleet, $90,000 for two patrol cars, and $100,000 for two box truck replacements for the warehouse. The $150,000, we're hoping we are able to replace 4 vehicles, 3/4-ton vehicles for maintenance. We have a very outdated fleet that is in constant need of repairs, so we're hoping there's funds available. Food services, we don't have any funds for food service. We're not requesting any. And roof repairs, we were looking for $375,000, the same amount that we requested last year for the high school, the 800 wing, 900 wing, 1,100 and 1,300 wings. So the total requested amount is for this fiscal year, upcoming year, is $2,957,220. Any questions?
Okay. Board members?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Orfeld?
On HVAC,
Yes, sir.
the line item for Garfield, for the last 3 fiscal years, have we done $600,000 in work, or that's just what was requested, or we've done 600,000 and we're still looking at another 1, 2, 3, almost 500,000 over the next?
Yes, sir.
3 years?
All that equipment, again, it was listed by Snyder. They're showing poor condition. A lot of it's original equipment from 2008. So we've been in the recent past, been addressing 2 or 3 units, whatever we can afford.
Okay.
Anyone else? Mr. Chapa?
Yes, sir.
Are these maintenance vehicles, are these new vehicles or these are used?
We would try to get new vehicles that would run around 35,000 or so. Fleet vehicles were basically stripped down, automatic vehicles, but no frills, no thrills on them.
So are these vehicles, do they require racks for ladders and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
So they'll be taken off the old vehicles or what?
We would try to reuse those, repurpose them.
Okay. And then, Dr. Rios, this doesn't include the campus. Principals come and, you know, they want either a covered walkway or whatever.
No,
No.
sir. No, sir, it does not include any special projects from the campuses. Those we receive throughout the year, and we place them on the to-do list for the maintenance department. And those are things that our people usually bill for them.
So where do these funds, where are they lumped?
They would come from the operations budget, sir. If there's anything that's too expensive that comes up, then we would always look for favorability, whether it be in personnel or any other area, if there was something unexpected that came up. But a lot of the requests are things that our personnel can usually complete.
Okay, and then other questions like, do all campuses have marquee signs, digital, whatever?
No, sir. I think that we had started a replacement cycle of them. Fill me in, Mr. Chapa. Did we cover everybody?
Mostly everybody, they're not digital though. But
I think we used the marquee that was at Lamar as the standard. And then we started to make sure that every campus had at least that type of sign, but they're not digital. I believe the only one that has digital is the high school one. That was a donation from over 12 years ago.
So in the reconfiguration of the middle schools, are we okay there with, you know, putting up things like special things that pop up during the year? Testing and,
Yes, sir. Most of the construction around reconfiguration, our team is going to complete. There are things that Ms. Childress has provided for athletics. For example, the purchase of items for the training room. And there's Coach McCray, can you come to the podium? Remind me, what are some of the items that we funded for? I don't want to.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So some of the items that we purchased right away are UIL mandated emergency items, such as the AEDs. We have to be able to provide ice for emergency injuries, our basic first aid and CPR related items that we keep in all of our training rooms and that we travel with. So we wanted to make sure that we had those already in hand before we move on to basic needs like tape and stuff like that. So.
The other items, they're going to be, like I said, constructed. There is one item that I had mentioned to the board a week ago, and that's turfing the practice field at San Felipe Memorial and Garfield Middle School. And that one is a 3-step process. The first one we were able to do without bringing it to the board, and that is just contracting with the group to do the geotechnical study. That one was below the threshold that we would bring to the board. However, we do have to bring one more item to the board, and that is the design of the field. And that one we do need to maybe have a special called board meeting because that one is a little pricier. And then the final one is the actual bid. But I was going to request from the board to have a special call board meeting to request approval for the contract for designing the turf. And Ms. Childress is also working on ensuring that that is funded through any overages from this year so that we don't have to go into fund balance. And we could say fund balance for anything that the board wishes to do this coming year.
Okay. Now that we have you there, and I know this is more an item of in the nursing department, but like EpiPens, for kids that have, allergies or to bee stings or ants or food allergies.
Yes, sir.
Are we still required to have EpiPens?
Well, athletically, we do carry them with us just in case. And I do believe with our nurses that they have, we were just talking about the other day, they do carry those and keep those up to date.
Mr. Mesa,
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez and Nurse Limon make sure that those are replenished every year, and every campus has them.
I just, some years are required and some years are not. I lost track.
For athletics, we do carry them.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Sandra, we have them, but I'm sure it's a requirement that we have them at every campus, and we do have them, sir.
Okay.
Good evening. Yes, sir, we do have them. We do have it as a requirement. Also, Nurse Limon has worked with a program in the past year where we now work with a company that provides them for us at no charge. So in the past, we were having to pay for EpiPens so that we would provide them for all of the campuses district-wide. Now through this program, she's able to obtain them, and we provide them annually, as well as the AEDs, moving forward for all of the campuses as well.
Okay, so they keep track of expiration dates and so forth?
Yes, sir. She's oversees that and tracks the expiration dates.
Okay. Sandra, now that I have you there too, I'm sorry I'm asking all these questions, but do we have designated areas for cleaning supplies that are toxic? That require lock and key?
That's a Hector Chapa question.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The supplies for cleaning supplies that we use are under lock and key in the custodial closets. And in some cases, we also put them in the portable buildings that are unoccupied.
Okay, but they're designated, whatever, there used to be, we used to have a handbook and,
The material safety data sheets, each campus or each building is required by law to have one of those. And
okay. And I have one more question and I'll stop talking. Mr. Chapa, is there any way we can, some of these vehicles that are there at the bus garage, there's a small bus that somebody broke the rear window and it's opened when it rains. Is there any way we can put them in a certain area that it's not so visible when public goes by and sees like a junk vehicle there?
I'm
Do-
assuming it could be. I can speak with Mr. Cabello.
It looks like either somebody threw a brick through the rear window and it's all broken, and the doors are wide open.
It's the old CTE bus.
Yeah, it looks bad.
We'll look, Mr. Mesa, we'll make a note and we'll visit with the Transportation Department to see what can be done.
It's just something, even if they close the doors, the bus, it looks like somebody's at least, preventing some further damage to it. It doesn't look bad, just broken rear window and doors wide open.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Mesa, if I may?
Yeah.
A lot of these items, we know that we ask for items every year because we try to do whatever is needed, but it's always the operations department that we always move to the end when we don't have enough money for raises and whatnot. What I'd like the board to consider, in a little bit, Amy's going to share with us projected income, and she's also going to share with us a little bit about what's in fund balance. It is very likely that a lot of these items cannot be funded, but if over the next couple of weeks, the board reviews everything that is in the sustainability sheet, if there are some items that perhaps we can take from fund balance, As we used to do in the past, we'd have that last board meeting, and then we would make some amendments for fund balance. So take, for example, some of the AC units that we may or may not need. We can allocate some money from fund balance should those things happen and dedicate that fund balance to AC. Maybe maybe not all the vehicles, but maybe one unit for the police force, maybe one or two for maintenance. So these are things that the board can decide if they want to take money from fund balance and just dedicate that money, because the priority this year is just going to be trying to have a balanced budget. So that's just an option. Y'all want to review this sheet and just say, hey, these would be my priorities to take the fund balance. That would be a possibility.
Okay. So we will have an interactive workbook.
Oh, yeah. We're not gonna roll it out today because we don't have all the
No.
information, but we're gonna introduce it today.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Chapa? None? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, the money ladies next, item C, 2025, 2026 budget revenue projections. Amy Childress with real good news. I hope.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, we are going to take our first look at our interactive budget workbook for the 2025-2026 budget year. And just a reminder, this is still a work in progress. And so we're going to start with the expenditure side, just a couple of the tabs that we usually look at. The first one is the general pay increase. As you can see at this time, we do not have anything listed just because we are waiting to see what the legislature does, and we will update this for our next budget meetings as we can. For personnel, again, these are just a couple of things that we would like you to consider for this year as we go through our interactive workbook. The first one is putting back the seven music and art positions that were removed from the budget for the 24-25 year. Also, possibly adding back the 4 librarian positions that were removed during the 24-25 budget. The addition of a deputy superintendent position for the 25-26 year. And then also on the, if you'll remember the 24-25 district reorganization we did last year, there is some additional savings that will carry over for this year. And at this time for today's presentation, the music and art positions and the librarians are not going to be carried into my budget scenario. The deputy superintendent and the district reorganization amounts will be. The next tab we have is the district insurance contribution. So currently, the district contributes $474.49 monthly per employee. We did move from this 24-25 budget year. The first half of the year, we were still under our self-funded plan. And the second part of the year, we moved to the Blue Cross Blue Shield. So that contract and that plan continues for the first half of our budget year from July through December. Our contribution would remain at the $474.49 monthly per employee. And for today's purposes, we are estimating an increase of 9.5% for the district contribution. Again, this is not figures we have received. Our contract does say that it cannot go above that amount. But that is the amount that we are using for the current purposes. So with that, our district contribution would possibly increase to $519.57 per employee per month for the second part of the budget year. As I mentioned before, when we moved from the self-funded to the Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, our original savings were going to be a little over $800,000. With the increase for the second half of our budget, it's still estimated that our general fund would decrease about $360,000 for the 25-26 year on our insurance contributions. The next two tabs, operations and technology. This is just a recap of what Mr. Chapa just presented to you with the sustainability plan. We do have each item listed and the amounts. The first one is for the operations. The second one is the technology items. And again, at this time, we do have no selected for all of those, so those will not carry over to the proposed budget that I'll be showing here shortly. All right. The last tab we have, the first item we're going to look at is we are estimating our proposed revenue, and we are using the information that we currently have, basing it on the proposed House Bill 2. So at this time, for a 2025-26 budget year, we are estimating a projected revenue of $106,887,870. Just to let you know, that is an increase over our 24-25 revenue of about $4.5 million. On our expenditures, as I noted before, we are carrying over the increase in the salaries and the decrease in the insurance contribution. But at this time, we are proposing our expenditures to be $105,518,728. That does leave us with a projected excess of $1,369,142. And as I mentioned before, we're proposing our revenue to increase about $4.5 million. However, for our 24-25 budget, we do have currently a proposed deficit of $2.9 million. So the increase in the funding we will hopefully receive will cover the budget deficit, and then you still have about $1.3 million to consider with raises and the possible projects that we're asking for. I also would like to mention currently, with our 24-25 budget, our proposed estimated excess fund balance, which is above the required 75 days, is $6,072,072. And we also still have pending estimated revenue to come in from the wind farm litigation. We're estimated to receive about $71,864.97 in the reimbursement of attorney fees, an estimated of $729,721.03 in supplemental taxes. And then we are expecting to receive some additional state aid. Again, Ray and Wood, our tax property value audit firm, is working on that for us. So we're still looking to receive about an additional $800,000 from that.
Amy, can you scroll a little bit up, right there on the leftover right? Could you expand that just a little bit so we can see that part?
I'm sorry, on which part?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
One more time. Okay, now scroll so we can see the fund balance. Okay,
Right here.
yeah. I'm sorry, man. I need to see the right there. I want to see that. Yeah. So, Mr. Mesa, if I may, the $1.369 million. That's the money that right now we would have left over for raises. Doesn't sound like a lot of money, except that we still have to comb the budget to see what positions we won't be needing for next year. We expect that that's easily going to come up to $2 million. And so that's a positive thing. Now, of course, we got to see what else we fund from the workbook that's there. And then our fund balance is going to be in excess around $7 million, probably a little bit more once we recoup the money from the state aid. So even though the money from the state wasn't enough to do everything, we have a whole lot of room for future savings. We just have, we need about another month to be able to comb through everything. And certainly by the end of May, we're going to have a really good picture, and hopefully the state will give us a good picture of how they want the teacher salaries or teacher salary increases structured. This looks 100 times better than last year. and it's still going to get a little bit better. So it doesn't look that way right now, but by the end of the month, when we finish scrubbing everything that we need to, it'll definitely be up there.
Okay. Questions for Amy?
Just for clarification, Ms.
Mr.
Childress,
Lindo?
the estimated revenue from the wind farm litigation, that goes back into the fund balance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And still waiting for the state aid, just to clarify from that. So that's where you're getting over the 7 million.
Yes, sir. That's exactly how it would happen.
Amy, I have like 5 questions for you. Okay, so have the expenditure deadlines gone out to the campuses? Like, spend your money and
Yes, so there are certain deadlines we've put out there, for local vendors, out-of-town vendors. Yes, it's year end, your POs. We do send, accounting department sends out, any open POs that have, we have not received invoices for, or purchases that have not been made. We send out, each campus has access to their budgets, their campus budgets to see their spending. So yes, we are working with them.
okay. And then this money you're talking about, like $1 million, is that carryover money?
The $1 million that I added to fund balance, that's money that we haven't received yet.
No, I know, but you said more than likely it'll be like 2 million.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So would that be carryover money?
Oh, no, sir. That's projected excess to our current budget from next year. So the $2 million is part of the money that we would have to provide raises or fund other projects or the personnel.
Okay. Now, there's still some bills pending right now, like special ed, some additional monies that might be coming in. Charles, is that Charles?
It's included in the top in my revenue figure.
Okay. And the big question is, if we're funded full day for pre-K, and keep in mind that Head Start might not even survive, would that be enough to cover? We have a full day program.
Sir,
We're getting revenue for half a day.
no, sir. It would not be enough to cover what we currently have because the percentage of the program that's paid through the grant right now is well over 50%. What is it, 65%?
About 65%.
About 65%. So the half-day funding we get, it would not be enough. We would have to work to come up with a solution to continue to have full-day pre-K. The understanding is that the students that are currently in pre-K would stay in pre-K, and the ones that are in Head Start would transfer over to pre-K. But they would not bring with them in ADA as much money as the federal government is providing for them. So we would have to see how we restructure that program to continue to provide the program on a full-day basis to all the parents. And I know we can make it work, but it would take some work to figure out everything.
Okay, because I'm trying to gather all the revenue that we encountered, like we're getting more money for credentials from CTE that in the past we didn't, I guess.
No, Mr. Mesa, our district has always counted on that bonus funding for CT certifications for associate degrees. Ms. Childress, remind me what we call that funding that we get, bonus funding?
The CCMR? The CCMR and bonus outcomes.
Yeah, bonus outcomes, yes, sir. We've gotten those bonus outcomes now, it's been a number of years. It's been at least over 5 years.
So did they increase last year, or? I hadn't heard about it.
No.
So can you more or less give me a round figure?
I want to say around 300,000, but I could.
300,000?
Yes.
We can provide it in the board update, but it's under $500,000, sir, but it's
Okay.
still a lot of money.
I just want to make sure I have all the numbers
So-
when we go crunching. And I don't know if it's a desire of the board or not, but I wonder if we could separate music teachers and art teachers. from the, would that be something?
Separated in the sense of,
As far as funding, bringing back the music and art, because they're lumped together, 7 art and music teachers, 7, I believe that's what I saw.
Well, go back to that tab,
Right here.
Mr. Mesa.
Yeah,
The music and art teachers combined, those are 7 positions, okay? So first off, it'd be 1 less because we have 1 less elementary campus. But you can't, well, you can't is probably too definitive of a word, but because currently we have half art and half music in elementary.
they go together.
They go together.
Okay, I see that. Okay, so we're waiting on the final Senate Bill 2 and 3 to see what revenues we're gonna get.
Yes, sir.
Head Start was one, special ed is the other one, where they're gonna give us some additional monies for special ed services.
Mr. President, I want to make sure that Amy and I are absolutely clear. We believe that the 4.5 million that is listed up there is inclusive of everything that was outlined in House Bill 2, to even include the money for security, where they would fund additional money for security. So we don't believe that there's going to be any money above the 4.5. We will come up with additional available money as we remove some of the positions that we won't be needing next year. But what's proposed in House Bill 2, that's what's going to stay. What's going to be different is how they direct us to use the money to provide teacher salaries. But there will not be any additional money beyond what Amy has already outlined in that worksheet. The only way to get more money for more raises is for us to go and cut some of the positions. So for example, she's not here right now, but for example, when we combined Garfield with all the other campuses, because of the economies of scale, there were some teachers that were in excess. Now granted, we have vacancies, so it's not like we didn't assign them anywhere, but we get to knock out some of those positions and say, we won't need a teacher here, a teacher there. We have a whole lot of paraprofessionals that also, won't be necessary, so we're using them to fill vacancies. So we're gonna have those type of savings, and that's gonna increase the additional money that we have available for y'all to decide how you give raises. But we do not believe the state is giving us any additional money besides the 4.5 million that are already there. Also, can you scroll, Ms. Childress? The money that we get for the outcome bonuses, where would that money be included in? Because I know it's in there already.
It's included here in the formula, in the state aid.
Yeah. That money's already accounted for. Now, does it fluctuate every year? Yes, it could be plus 25,000, minus 25,000.
So the projections that Mr. Morales gave us, that already, let's say, for example, the campus, it used to be where campuses get 15,000. Now they're going to get 30,000. It's already included?
Yes, sir. So I use a summary of finance template that Region 13 puts out. They have a gentleman that does it. He takes what the legislature has out there. He updates the weights and the formulas. And so as of right now, those are included, yes, in the template and the worksheet that I use, that we
Okay.
use for that.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, well, we'll close the workshop.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I just have Ms. Childress.
Yes.
Before we provide the book to the board, can we add another tab that does not balance out with the yearly budget? But when they give us feedback, I'd like to know if there's anything that they don't recommend be budgeted from the sustainability that they want to use from fund balance.
Okay.
So that if we hear from different board members, whether it be vehicles, whether it be AC, we know how to plan appropriately.
Yes, sir. Yes, I can send that out. Mhm.
Okay. All right, well, next item we have is the consent agenda. Again, one action will approve all items on the consent agenda. There's only one, G1. Anyone has a question? Consideration to approve contract over $5,000 and purchase order over $25,000 for geotechnical study for artificial turf at Garfield Elementary and San Felipe Memorial Middle School.
Mr. Mesa, that's the item that was under the threshold and did not require board approval. So we're asking that that be indefinitely tabled, and we'd like to move to the next item under human resources.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that. It just, okay, we'll go to item 16, human resources. First item, consideration to approve the addition of Chief Compliance and Accountability Officer Amy Childers.
Good evening. This evening, administration is requesting the approval to add to our 24-25 budget the new position for Chief Compliance and Accountability Officer.
Okay, questions from board members?
I guess
Mr. Orfeld?
you need A to do B, right? The job description.
Yes.
There, because
Yes.
I was just going to ask for just a brief, overview of what it would be.
Okay.
Sure.
So I don't know if we can have that now, or do we need to wait for B?
We can do it. We can do it now.
Okay.
Let me just flip the agenda over. The position of the Chief Compliance and Accountability Officer would be someone that directly supervises and evaluates the principals to ensure that all state and district initiatives are supported and implemented. For example, coaching the teachers, data culture, curriculum dashboard, plan protocol, support in dealing with campus improvement plans. It's just the direct supervisor and support for all principals.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, just following up with Mr. Orfeld. So would that be including the leadership training that you're having, that principals go through? Because it's not listed here.
No, there'll be a support for that, but that still falls under the cabinet and superintendent as a whole.
Okay. Okay, because they're still undergoing that leadership training, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. All right, so let's go back to item A. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain them. Go ahead and read the recommendation, please, first.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve a new position for the Chief Compliance and Accountability Officer as presented.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion, yes, Mr. Orfeld, seconded by Mr. Maraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 16B, discussion possible action to approve the employee job descriptions and evaluation forms. Amy Childers.
Yes, sir. At this time, we're asking for you to, presented in front of you was the evaluation and job description. And so we're recommending for the approval for that, for the Chief Compliance and Accountability Officer.
Any other questions? Okay, recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job description and evaluation form as discussed.
There's a motion by Mr. Alindo, seconded by Mr. Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item C, consideration to approve the updated 2024-2025 district compensation plans. Amy Childers.
Good evening once again. And the change that we are doing is to add the Chief Compliance and Accountability Officer position to the administrative a professional pay plan as a pay grade 9.
Questions? No questions. Recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the updated 2024-2025 district compensation plan as presented.
Heard the recommendation. Motion for approval. Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Ms. Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There being no other items on the agenda, is there a motion for adjournment? Mr. Overfeld, second by Mr. Almaraz. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you. Good night, everyone.